I want a sandwich. Now. Oh, sandwich wench. Yo, wench. Sandwich. Now. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. Sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. Sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. Oh, sandwich wench. I want a sandwich. Sandwich.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another political recap stream here on the Moisky Live channel. That was abrupt, wasn't it? Joining me to talk about some things and doodahs and whatsits and all the usual stuff, maybe, kind of, is Trups. Say hi, Trups.
Hello, Trups.
The timing on that was better than usual. I like that.
I was holding it in my hand next to the mic. I was ready, dude.
Yeah, I feel like I might, I mean, if I left that too long, it might have hurt your fingernail. How is Trups?
Oh, I'm all right. It was a longer week, but I'm, again, actually doing things. So.
Sorry, I have to yawn. It's been a long-ass week this week, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what it's been. It's just, it feels like it's dragged on.
It kind of
Maybe
has.
this is the first of the month. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't. Yeah, maybe it's that. It's getting nearer to the summer. The days are getting longer. I get it.
Maybe that is part of it.
Never mind. How has Trups been anyway?
Well, I mean, other than that, I've been trying to keep up with as much as I can. Unfortunately, our news has been dominated by basically two different things.
I saw a couple things in your country of interest. Something in Texas was one of them.
Oh.
Concerning Texas Democrat Henry Cuellar. Potential indictment for the congressman, but that's about it.
Oh, I did not see that.
I saw about half an hour ago, so I only saw it recently.
There actually is something that I remember seeing pop up on my feed that I think is warranting some. Oh yes, I did see your pictures.
Yeah, I was gonna put it there just in case.
Oh yes, I saw that on.
Instagram, maybe Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, Facebook. Yeah.
I'm happy with them.
But I'm happy the way that it turned out. Again, I wish I need to check back at the Facebook post. I don't think you posted one in the dark, did you? I saw one that was more green than the others. I think that was the inside of it, though.
The insides are very black. But it starts off looking blue. For those who don't know, I've just put a picture of my bar on the server we do stuff on. And if you haven't seen it, it's on Instagram. Go check it out. Leon, I'm sure we'll put a link there in the chat if you're interested. I need likes. Give me attention. It's on the, I think, Not Worth the Cork Instagram, I think. I don't know if I put it on the Omegon one. I don't think I did. I mean, Not Worth the Cork. Why am I yawning? I'm so sorry about the yawning, guys. I'm not actually tired. I'm just yawning. Yeah, how's your week been anyway?
I mean, you've asked me now 3 times. How about yours? What's yours, William?
This is how alert and awake and paying attention. I've been all right. Like yourself, it's kind of dragged, and it's been a bit of it's just been a work week, really.
Yeah.
I've been prepping to do some more work over the weekend, decorating, because I realised with how well it all turned out, I was going to do all the other shelves in my cabin to match the ones around the bar, because they're not treated, and I'm like, this looks good. Walnut varnish and oak on the supports. It looks good. So
out of a fun question. So, you remember, like, was it 2 weeks ago? I started talking about Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
And then the next week you posted about the drama of Stardew Valley. And
Do you know what I did? Because Leona told me about it. I didn't know about it otherwise. Because she loves Stardew.
Yeah, I figured as much when I saw their gameplay.
Yeah, that was hers.
Very American.
Yep. She actually sent me a copy of it once.
Yeah,
And
I remember you telling me.
And, yeah, I never accepted it. People are getting into it now. And that's cool. It's cool.
There was an update that happened, I think, like a month or so ago. That actually updated some new stuff, and it's like the first update good update they've had in a while. So I think that's why a lot of people came back.
I'm glad they did. It's not my kind of game, and that's fine. If it was on the Switch, there'd be a chance I probably would look at it. But to be honest,
I'm shocked it's not on the Switch. To be honest, it feels like a game that would be perfect
in that
for
sort
the
of
Switch.
Well, it's not just that. It's the 16-bit quality would suit a handheld anyway.
Yeah.
So it makes some sense. But I can understand why it isn't Ball Lake to set it up.
Well, it kind of feels like the Binding of Isaac in a sense, because Binding of Isaac is on Switch as well.
It's a good game.
Yes, it is, and the developer, did really well. But by contrast, like a game that you wouldn't expect to be on Switch, but is Ark Survival Evolved.
I've got Ark. I think I have that on the Switch.
But think about just the sheer the size difference of these games that I just explained. Ark is huge.
I've just confused the two games. I have Subnautica. And the DLC
different.
On
I think
Switch.
Subnautica's on Switch as well.
It is. That's what I've got on the Switch. I confused it because I had the additional DLC, and I think that was called Survive something.
Arctic Sub-Zero, something like that.
Okay, there's an SU in there then. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Ark Survival Evolved is basically.
I know what it is. I remember doing it after 7 days, and I couldn't be asked for another survival game. Even though I found it hilarious when a randomly text appeared on the side that said, "Your avatar's defecated." I'm like, wait, what?
Fun story about 7 days, actually. 7 days is on its road to being out of alpha for fucking forever.
It's been there too long. I know that Ranting Monkey, he still plays it on Twitch and stuff, and you do you and all that, but I just don't.
Bless.
I just can't be asked anymore.
Blessed to be still playing. I go on and off in certain games. Like right now, I'm in Fallout New Vegas.
I'm playing Pokemon Red on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, and Street Fighter 2 on an Evercade.
Sick.
I can't be asked with sitting at the PC and playing those kind of games anymore. If 7 Days is on the Switch, I still wouldn't play it.
So it's not even about sitting at the PC. You're just being a little bitch.
I am because of that. Considering what I do and what I want to do with life. Whereas
we played too much of it.
It's
honestly.
not just that, but back then when we played it, I needed the company. I needed to be around people. I needed the social stuff. I don't need that. I would love that, of course, if I could be bothered. But I don't.
It's not your top priority.
I don't. Well, yes and no. It's not a top priority. It's just I don't need that version of that kind of group. I don't need that anymore. I'd rather just And yeah, Skog, you kind of get it. You and I.
Hey, there were some good times.
He and I did play a few years back, and I briefly played with some other skank, and we played a little bit, and I just followed people around. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I just couldn't be asked.
Oh, it's fine. All right, well let's get into a topic.
Okay, well I'll tell you what. We'll start where we ended last week because this cracked me up to no end.
Oh.
Last week we spoke about Hamza Yusuf and a no confidence vote.
Oh yes, this is a wonderful
absolute sausage. He is such a twat. I would build my server crashing houses. Oh, that was a good time. Yeah. He 7 Days to Die. Skog is the king of destroying servers by building a Kaaba. Now, Hamza Yusuf over the weekend he had a decision to make. Because he'd lost the support of the Greens, and he lost it because he reneged on his deal. Now, he hasn't been in office that long, and he's already fucked it up. Okay, fun times. So over the weekend, knowing he has a no-confidence vote, which could in turn harm the SNP, which it would and wouldn't. If he lost the no-confidence vote, he could still stay in office, but their ability to govern would be greatly diminished. But the chance of an election would be even higher. Well, courtesy of BBC Scotland News, I actually have his resignation video. Now, it's a shame I can't play so Trups could hear it, but I do have it. It's 1 minute 17, and I'm going to go and put it on the screen for all you lovely people. Here it is.
It's a Twitter one, right?
Yeah, it's a Twitter one. It's
Yeah,
I think you have it. Okay, I'm going to press play now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in ending the Butte House,
Pausing. It's only coming out of my left ear.
Yeah, mine too.
That's so irritating. Carrying
That's
on.
aggravating.
in the manner that I did, I clearly underestimated the level of hurt and upset that caused Green colleagues. For a minority government to be able to govern effectively and efficiently, trust when working with the opposition is clearly fundamental. And while a route through this week's motion of no confidence was absolutely possible, I am not willing to trade my values and principles or do deals with whomever simply for retaining power.
So he has said he won't change, he won't compromise on his values for power. Now, this is the thing. His principles, I love the expression on this lady's face. I got the best pause game. His values are basically shitting on anything white, which is why you'll notice his podium is off-white.
Ah, yeah, right.
It might be glow in the dark, actually. It looks like the right kind of filament.
It does. I want to point out, by the way, that I have seen a lot of sign language interpreters.
Yeah.
This person, I actually recognize certain hand gestures. I think this person is actually doing it correctly. I have seen some people who I'm pretty sure are bullshitting.
I wasn't, no lie, I wasn't even watching her, and I do actually do sign language because my nephew. I wasn't paying any attention at all. Dank's reaction. Yes, I saw his reaction. Count Dankula did a video dancing to some music. If I could be asked to go find the tweet on his Twitter, I'd put it on the screen, but I can't be asked. You have your right earphone in. Oh, I'm sorry, Bri. But yeah, he is basically saying he's not willing to compromise his values to stay in power. That is a really stupid thing to say, but it's the right move, of course, if you're such a principled and strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
In his case, no, it's not that at all. You're a bitch because you reneged on your deal with the Greens, a deal that has stood for a while, and you reneged on it for no real reason. You just did it because you're a bitch. Continuing his video just for a little bit, because we've got like 30 seconds.
Therefore, after spending the weekend reflecting on what is best for my party, for the government, and for the country I lead, I've concluded that repairing our relationship across the political divide can only be done with someone else at the helm.
Pausing and ending that because I don't need any more of it. He is going to essentially resign because somebody else can do a better job to unite the party again. The thing is, that's not what's happening right now. What's happening is you've just shown that, much like the Marvel engine, the SNP in Scotland aren't infallible. Because there are certain lines you cannot cross and maintain your power. In the case of what you have, it's not party unity or anything like that. No, it's the SNP exists for two reasons. To shit on conservatives, because being right-leaning or a conservative is, well, haram. Yeah. And the second is for independence. But now you know you can't go for that either because you no longer have the support. In fact, it has been argued that the vote for independence or any push for it can't happen for a whole complete generation because of what has happened. Like, how dumb do you have to be to willingly and knowingly destroy any chance of that independence happening within your time in office? You can't do it. So really, what unity are you after? Because you're not going to get it from the Greens now unless you find a way with a new leader to, well, beg them like there's no tomorrow. And they're already trying to push. Rather amusingly, there is a belief the SNP are going to start pushing an individual called John Swinney in. John Swinney was Nicola Sturgeon's deputy. I believe at one point he was in fact the leader of the SNP for a while as well. So they're just trying to push some, well, actually this might annoy him a bit, annoy Hamza Yusuf, a white man, because white. How dare you?
So I was going to ask you, who now gets to vie for the leadership? Is it the same party now gets to appoint somebody? Like, how does this work?
Yeah, it's that's how it works. The party already has a majority. They have a majority. Therefore, until the next election, they don't have to because they've survived the no confidence vote as well. Since the announcement of his resignation, they survived the vote.
How lucky them.
John Swinney has announced he intends to be a candidate, and that's totally fine. I'm intrigued to see how that works out. I'm gonna see if I can find that Dankula video because it's too funny. Took the bitch out for hot chocky. I'm guessing that's his wife. Interesting. Hamza Yusuf, First Minister. Right, that's not it. Oh, there's Dankula's underwear. Ah, here it is. Found it. I found it. I'm going to play that because it's too good. There's music, and if I get a copyright claim, it's because of Dankula. I'm not sorry.
See, we just love Dankula.
Man can't. He dad dances, and it's infectious. I will admit. But yes, he was very. I mean, I'm not going to read the tweet that accompanied it because it had a word in that we can't say on stream, starting with R.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna, even though cussing's totally fine, we're gonna avoid that one. So yes, Hamza Yusuf is on his way out, and John Swinney is more than likely going to be the successor if they don't decide, Scotland that is, to continue with their crusade to avoid men, white men especially, and simply go with another female. Because they had a few candidates last time when Hamza Yusuf was going for it. So it's always possible. And while this is going on, we've got some fantastic stuff going on in London. We've got a mayoral election that I didn't know was happening until about 2 days ago. But we'll get to that in a bit. We'll get to that in a bit. So anyway, let's move on to something else. What's been going on in your area of the world then? Because I've got young Democrats are getting law and order, and I've got something about Trump and something about Texas. What did you have?
Well, actually, I wanted to quickly talk to you about an interesting thing that happened recently.
Oh.
So I'm just going to read the headline, and then we're going to move on from that. Governor McMaster calls for investigation. Voter registration forms allegedly given to non-citizens in South Carolina.
I saw a YouTube short, and I don't watch this particular YouTube channel, so it was kind of strange to see it. But it was is it Charlie Kirk? Is that his name?
I think so.
Right. He was at a campus, and somebody had this Asian American student had said that we should just give all that come to the US a green card straight away, so they don't then businesses aren't incentivized to give jobs or preferential treatment to those who are American. It is then completely equal. And Charlie Kirk's response was no. These same people who argue these employment sort of positions are the same that think that those who just come to a country should be allowed to immediately vote on it, and that's vote in elections, and that's something we discussed before. We actually discussed it during I think not long after Trump being elected, because remember we'd been reviewing it happening when people.
What are you snapping?
I don't actually. It's just a piece of wrapper. I don't even know why.
Oh, okay.
It's just. I think it's a CD case. I'm not even looking at it. Sorry. I'm just fidgeting. My hand needs something in it.
Give you a fidget spinner.
You know what? That wouldn't be the worst idea. But yeah, no. I saw a few of these. I then got curious and watched a few of these Charlie Kirk debates with students, and a lot of them centered around just calling him fascist because he believes in giving American people preferential treatment over those who are non-American in America, that is, protecting American jobs and so on. And I'm not getting into whether or not he's still a good person or not. None of my business. But the position of these electoral is a bit sus, because many were calling sus on this when 2020 happened.
So
I'm kind of curious what the hell's going on.
So this basically comes down in what happened here. So it was basically the whistle was blown by a state rep named Adam Morgan, and then it was retweeted by one of the main folks in, how do I view quotes? South Carolina Freedom Caucus, Chuck Gray. There was somebody in particular who was in like the Federal House Freedom Caucus who amplified this. And basically, what it says is going back to it. If you are not registered to vote where you live now, would you like to apply to register to vote today? Yes, no, already registered to vote, or will use voter registration by mail. And then it basically says applying to register or declining to register to vote will not affect the amount of assistance that you will be provided by this agency. And then it's a whole bunch of other stuff regarding, information about voting and what the purpose of the document is.
So is this like when people go into different states to work but want to vote in their own state so they can mail in their vote?
So that's what's kind of funny about this.
It feels like it, but not.
We don't have. Okay, well, I should be. If you're not New York, and not like a couple other places,
right,
in the West, we do not have laws allowing non-citizens. This changes based on state. Whether or not you have a green card, a work visa, that kind of stuff, that can change the following statement. They may not vote in local or federal elections.
Some people
in
are
New
trying
York,
to change that, aren't they?
Yes. In New York and some other states out west, you may vote in local elections. Like school board is what they argue. However, the real important takeaway from the reason why we don't give out the right to vote in our federal elections to people who aren't from this country is about the same reason if you want to look at Taiwan, why Taiwan is dealing with issues with Chinese individuals or people with links to the Chinese Communist Party getting elected to their various legislatures and political office.
That reeks of sus, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we, as well as probably you in the UK, we don't want people who don't want the best for our country to be making decisions for our country.
I agree, and Taiwan is its own independent nation.
And we don't know, and we don't have a reason to know, if every illegal migrant is, in fact, hoping for the best for this country.
Well, we have seen increase in crime stats against, more notably against children from those who illegally cross.
We have.
And they blame it on cultural divides. And I'm sat here like, so again, I have to go back to Charlie Kirk here because the same student who made all these stupid comments had also said that the border should just be open, or that immigration none of it's ever bad. And so Charlie replied, "How many do you think illegally cross the border every day?" And the guy said 500 at most.
Ha!
And Charlie had to say, "Actually, it's closer to 15,000. That's not immigration. That's an invasion."
And that's per day.
That's per day. Yeah. No one has to like what someone says. If they're correct, they're correct. And he has these stats on his side. You have people who go to college in your country, and I covered it earlier this week when they weren't as violent anyway. But the protesting and the mini Chad going on certain campuses.
Was going on.
Yes, I know. It's quite amusing. But you have people who are so high up they're an arsehole when they talk about this, about how you need to have a certain degree in all this to be considered an authority on a subject or informative on. I'm sorry, but between myself and Trups, there's plenty of educational background, and I don't think it means jack shit really when it comes to this conversation.
No, not so much.
If you're going to ask me how to do a certain type of equation, sure, I can do it, fine, but it doesn't prove shit. It just says I can solve it. It just means I can solve a problem. That's all it tells you. That's the entire fucking point of them. But yeah, no, this is not the point. And you have enough proof that it isn't good. And it's not. I'll be honest. This is going to be a massive talking point during this election in your country.
Oh, it is. It is
has
one
to
of
be.
the most. Actually, it is a rising issue in this election.
I'd love to see how Trump play. Sorry, not Trump. I'd love to see how Biden plays it down by just saying, "Yeah, but Trump's bad, man. He's gonna ruin my ice cream."
Biden has actually outright stated that there is a intention to debate Trump at some point, which I am highly looking forward to.
I'm highly doubting it will happen because they won't be able to have him do it.
I agree.
He's going to look even worse than last time, and he looked horrific.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but anyone that thought Biden did well last time, you're talking out of your also arsehole. No, he's got no chance. And I'm not a Trump fan. I just find him amusing. I find Biden amusing, but for different reasons. I just no. It'd be a care home, yes, it will, Yempi, absolutely. It's a good place for him to do it, to be fair. Yeah.
True. But back onto the election thing. So
yeah.
The question that Adam had posed in his tweet is the federal government giving non-citizens registration forms? Yes, at least in South Carolina, a refugee sent us this form that was given to her in a packet at the Social Security office in Spartanburg. She asked, why are they giving these to non-citizens? And it's from a place that says every vote matters, every vote counts at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, update after calling the agencies and all parties involved. It appears the form was given by the state government, the South Carolina Medicaid office.
Yeah.
The refugee confused the offices. We are set to pass a bill prohibiting non-citizens from voting in South Carolina elections. I believe they did, actually, like within like a week of this information getting out.
I should just quickly say thank you, Skog, for sending me the Dankula video. I knew somebody would get it first. I forgot to say it.
But yeah, we have a bit of an issue when it comes to this illegal immigration problem that extends far beyond just like, oh, we have, you know, insane amounts of illegal immigration. It drives up crime. But
how many have illegally crossed your country in the 4 years?
Millions.
It's over 7 million.
Millions.
It's over 7. I know that because I remember seeing the numbers. During other presidents, it has never been this high. And your country can be as big as it wants to be, but you've still got to house these people in areas where you're already stretched anyway. And these people don't want to live in more rural regions that are typically red. They're going to go to the blue ones, and people in the blue ones are going to go, no.
So the fun story, the blue ones actually need the people the most. Because post-COVID, all of the people who lived in the blue states who were moderate, conservative, who were just living there because, my job, you know, they all fucked right off. Or they have enough money.
Well, hopefully they, you know, are doing better for themselves. They can need them, want them all they like, but they've got to somehow then get those people to be a working part of society.
Yes, and that part is difficult.
I saw a couple of videos of every time journalists went to see queues of people who are illegally in your country being ushered into like shelters. They were funneling these people in so fast on purpose because they didn't want people to see just how big the queue was.
And this is a big problem because this actually does have impact in our government beyond just voting rights. So if you have non-citizens that count for population of an area, let's say on a census, that you intentionally do not ask the citizenship question. Then based on our distribution of House representation, because it's population based, certain areas of the country will actually get more electoral seats.
Oh, it's a game with human lives.
Oh, yes.
It's a chessboard.
Yes,
it's such an embarrassing one.
Well, we have a word for that. It's called trafficking.
Oh yeah, that word fits. I don't like the action of the word, but I like the word. It's a good word in this context.
Indeed.
I have to
And
be very specific there in this context, not the action of it. No.
No. The White House has basically been trafficking in illegal migrants since, well, I guess day one of the Biden administration, when he revoked the Remain in Mexico policy.
He vetoed so much. Man, that guy
What was it, like 81 on the first day?
It was an insane number, and it was all done just to spite Trump.
Yep.
None of it thought out. And right now he's bleating on his Twitter constantly about Trump man bad. But nothing about how he's going to spend the next 4 years if he gets them fixing what he has done. He's just blaming Trump for everything. It's like, bitch,
yeah,
you've had 4 years. Well, 3. You've done nothing. Like, legit, you have done nothing. And it's embarrassing at this point. I want him to lose because he needs to learn that the Democrats need to learn the lesson, but they're not going to learn it with Trump. They just know they have to wait 4 more years then before they can push something else.
Yeah, but like even the Democrats, there are Democrats that are right now having to come to terms with the fact that
they chose this.
Well, not only they chose this, but they're also suffering. Like, unless you are the ultra wealthy, at which point then you are playing the stock market game every time you see something go up and down.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi, yeah.
Yeah. Unless you are, Jeff Bezos and people like that. Unless you are playing that game, you're suffering. You see this a lot in TikToks relating to Gen Z, who have been more and more vocal about how much they are suffering.
I have seen some videos memeing them as well because of it. And I will say, I feel sorry for anyone of any generation right now who's suffering, of course. But lessons have to be learned, and sadly, there is no such thing as a casualty-free consequence. And sadly, you guys are suffering the consequences of other people. Older people who are stupid.
Indeed. And if you look at the people who are privileged, who are running around, cosplaying as revolutionaries on college campuses,
the college campus.
Everyone else looks at those people, even the more democratic individuals who are, they voted for Biden. They believe in like universal health care. They have actual policy ideas. And they look at what's happening, and they probably think to themselves, wow, I fucking wish I had the money to like fuck off for a week and, do a camp kumbaya on, an occupied campus where the police don't give a shit. Until
you mean
recently.
sing Kumbaya in Chad 2.0?
3.0 at this point. Yeah.
I've lost track. It might be Foliad. It could be.
Well, it always ends the same way, doesn't it?
Oh yes, obviously they make demands for things that they think they deserve, and then it gets obliterated.
Mm-hmm.
Because then someone goes, "Okay, we're done with your quaint little projects. You're actually starting to piss us off now. Get fuck out of here."
So, transitioning into that one, did you see the end of the UCLA Chop Chaz autonomous protest?
Which part
for Palestine?
Of it, Trups?
the end of it.
I saw the rubber ones. Yes, I saw those. I saw. I thought that was highly. Oh yeah, I thought it was quite nice.
I quite liked watching the whomever was inside the plywood wall barricade, if you will.
Was it where the wood broke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the really shitty wood that you buy for like.
That's like the fleck, the stuff you put on the back of furniture to stop it bowing, to just make sure your drawers don't push through the other side.
Yeah, basically.
It was so funny though when it broke.
Oh, they would just snap it down. But my favorite part was when they would shoot a fire extinguisher at the cops, and the cops would respond with shotgun-delivered beanbags.
Well, they've done that, and they hit a guy with a rubber bullet, and they got him on the jaw, I think. They snapped his head back.
So
and he
there's
was
a
like-
big
and-
difference between beanbags and rubber bullets. So
Yes, I'm only going by the one article I saw, and it was claimed to be a rubber bullet. According to the BBC. According to the BBC, it's one guy with a mustache. He just looks like a hipster. He looks like a loser. I by the way, just to be clear here, I want to feel sorry for you for getting hurt. Of course, I don't want you to get hurt. But your position is untenable, and you are depriving others of education. I will stand by what I said on Tuesday. As far as I'm concerned, you need to get out of the way of those who are paying to go to lessons and go to education institutes like the library, facilities available to them, and stop inhibiting their ability to learn, so they can become what you will never be, and that is a valuable and useful member of society.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the ones that got expelled at Columbia, Bry, one of them got expelled because I believe they were actually calling for a bit of a genocide.
Well, yeah. See, this is the funniest one. One of the videos that I saw was when they had occupied the Hamilton Hall. I believe this was New York, actually, in Columbia.
Yeah, there's been a few different states with different types of
and
protests.
they're all Democratic.
Imagine my shock.
I know, right? One of my favorite ones was when the Hamilton Hall one, where they stacked up on the door.
Yep.
And the person inside filming is like, "No fucking way! Are you fucking serious? I have finals. Like, let me just go home." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Now you're upset? Aw, boo-hoo. Aw, the felon is upset that their game is over."
It's not that.
It's
They thought their cheat codes would do it for them. Oh, poor buggers.
What do you mean? I saw a picture on Facebook that literally was like 3 white girls that was like, "Hey, spending May Day at the encampment, woo!" And they were all like little peace signs. And I'm like, wow, it's a Starbucks ad, but like cringe.
I will see your whatever you just said there, and raise you up, down, left, right, X, square, triangle, circle, and then one of the R's and L's. You're welcome. That's your invincibility.
GTA San Andreas?
GTA 3, actually.
Okay.
One of the I think it's for the tank or the flying one. I can't remember which.
Yeah. I'm so glad that I immediately knew it was a GTA cheat code.
It's
I have a problem apparently.
No, I'm with you on that. I tried it on the Switch, it doesn't work.
Oh no. Xbox and PS3.
I've got PS2. Yeah, PS2. I've got a PS2, so it's fine. Good times. Sorry, I just thought cheat code funny. Got to run with it.
Yeah.
No lives matter. I agree, MJ. Penguin, sorry, I fully agree with you. And people got expelled. They deserved it. We're lucky here if it isn't the consequence of it. Yeah. So the thing is, these people they're the type who don't believe consequences apply to them. They believe they're removed from it. A level of arrogance from huffing their own secretions, and I find that they don't seem to understand that. Because of how the world really works, they need to know that when you start to fuck around, you're going to find out in the form of beanbags. I love that we've gotten to this stage now to protect their lives. We've found a way to weaponize beanbags to such a degree that we can actually cause you real harm without making it permanent. Just enough to knock all the wind out of you and all the smug. And PS2 for the win. Yes, mine still works. I'm very happy with this. Played it 2 weeks ago on a TV that's older than that. Yes. Carrying on though. What do you think is going to happen now with college campuses and these protests?
So what's funny is actually the MSNBC hosts actually started to go off on this, and I mean like Al Sharpton, who is a absolute fucking idiot.
But I know who he is, yeah.
He was right this time around.
I'd heard that.
He said that, I don't know what, these kids need to understand that what they're doing, it looks like January 6th. Fucking Brzezinski got upset at that comparison, but he was basically upset because he's like, look at what you're doing. You're making it just the same. If you think anybody is going to agree with you or be on your side while you're doing this, you're out of your minds. And I'm like, wow, a sudden moment of clarity from Al Sharpton. It's actually insane that somebody would be so cogent, so accurate, and so brave.
What's getting me is that, first of all, he's right. And it's that thing of, you can find someone to be an irritation or a pain in the ass, but when they're right on a subject, they're still right. And I take great issue, and I did during the time of Corbyn with his very socialist policies, that if you're going to enable this kind of shitty behaviour, you're already showing the rest of the world and the rest of your population what you're willing to do. And what you're willing to do is look like a bunch of children who have yet to actually go through puberty, who are throwing your toys out of your pram and are saying, no, give me more, give them back to me and get me more. Do what I tell you. You're protesting something you don't even understand. Like, we know this from people who've gone to the protest and said, no, we're just here to support Palestine. Why? I don't know, we're just cause we hate the Jews or something. I don't know. And that's basically the level we're dealing with. I don't get that. I find it exhausting that you're so ideologically driven, but you don't even understand what you mean.
They don't, and we talked about this now for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
the protesters are literally like playing games.
They're unpaid crisis actors.
Well, there are actual paid crisis actors who are showing up to these things, who are teaching them.
That's why I differentiated, because we know a paid crisis actor, we know what they are. But an unpaid one is just an uneducated person in an educational institute who acts like they're better than everyone else and thinks they can speak from a position of authority because they got or are trying to get a degree. Bitch, I got like 3. I don't really give a shit. It means fuck all. Honestly, my sisters sometimes do brag about, certain people's qualifications, but I promise you, in the grand scheme, it means jack shit. Honestly.
Well, not only that, but I mean, some of your degrees don't actually get you anything either in the real world.
They really don't.
Some people are.
Oh,
well, I mean, we talked about Dave after all.
No, there's a better one. There was a video, I wished I'd saved it. It was a guy burning his gender studies degree in protest of his against the treatment of Palestinians from Israel. I don't know if you've seen it, but the guy literally gets a lighter and sets fire to his gender studies degree certificate. And I'm sat here like, you don't need to protest. You don't need to protest, Palestine or Israel. You don't need to do that. But you can do that to your degree in gender studies. Right? You can happily burn that piece of shite. You now have hopefully a fixed variable interest rate. Although, since you're an idiot, I'm hoping it'll be a somewhat interchangeable thing of going up. Whatever the other, you got fixed rate, yeah, and then the other rate. What's the other one called?
I don't know, but it's not fixed rate.
Yeah, it's the one that fluctuates and changes and screws you over. I hope to anyone that has a gender studies degree, you have that one, okay? Because you're basically, and I'm going to take what Bry's written here.
That's what it's called.
Thank you. I hope you have an adjustable one, but I hope it's based on you sucking ass for the rest of your career. Because honestly, I want you. You're LARPing, and I'm going to take the word from Bry there. You're LARPing as someone with an educational background, but you've got nothing. I want you to practice the following words, because these will serve you well in life. Would you like fries with that? Because that's all you've got. I thought it was a meme. So did I, Skog. And then I saw that video and thought that was too funny.
It's honestly shocking, like what you actually can get a degree in. I think at Georgia Tech you can have a minor in Klingon.
I honestly, I'd go for that.
Or I think you can do a language major, and then I guess your specialty can be Klingon.
Fam, I'd do that. I'd do that. I happily do that. I'm sorry, I wasted 6 years doing chemistry, like at what was the 7th best university in the country. Now ranked 70 something because they went down the progressive route. Like, I used to be proud to say I was from there as well. Like, and I got a second one during lockdown out of boredom. I did that through Open out of.
Got another degree during lockdown.
I got bored. Open University, you can just do it in your own time.
I was gonna say, I wish I could do that. I have to pay.
Yeah, I did too. But I was doing YouTube full time, and then I got those self-employment grants.
Oh, well done.
So I just used those and was like, well, fuck it. I've got nothing to do. I'm bored. I was so fidget. You know how, like, you said
I
don't
get
sit
it.
on your mic, right? You don't, you fidget, yeah? Well,
Oh no, I fidget, but I'm just like I do it like way under my desk so that
So,
like nobody can
I
hear.
was unpacking new albums that I'd acquired recently that I'd forgotten to do it with, and I was just taking the cellophane off them because I'm peak excitement. Because I just fidget all the time. It's just what I do.
Fidget cube. There's like a
I
fidget
have one.
cube where like each one. I love
I
that thing.
literally have one on my desk. I got it for my birthday. My sister got it for me, and within 2 minutes my niece had undone it all, and 2 minutes later I'd already put it back into a cube, and I was like, "This is fun."
Listen, Michael, I heard it when I said it. I didn't want to. I wasn't going to draw attention.
It's all right.
to it.
No. It's all right. It doesn't make the only thing that makes me self-conscious is mouth breathing, because I worry sometimes if I breathe too loudly, they might distract people.
Look,
They might hear it and be like, "Max King fat."
as long as you're not one of those people who like eats at their desk with the mic on.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand people who chew into their mic. It is one of the most aggravating sounds in imagine.
Whenever I do a Twitch stream and I'm going long, right? I'll get a Nutri-Grain out and I just start going blah 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 blah. That's what I do.
Honestly, more tolerable than wet mouth noise.
I do it solely because I know it pisses people off in my chat. Like the one who just wrote, and yet you swallow the mic. I don't actually. I sit really far away and I make really over-sexualized noises when people donate enough money.
I was going to say, what, you're doing Jimmy here, swallowing the mic?
Basically, apparently I'm going... Anyway, so are the campuses cleared now? Oh, and by the way, Skog, I love using design degree as a shelf liner. I like that.
Most of them, yes. So UT got taken apart on Wednesday. Columbia got taken apart, I think, Thursday. No, sorry. UT was like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Then Columbia was like Wednesday, and then Thursday night morning was UCLA. So I think we're done now. I know that Ole Miss had a almost protest, but they were immediately met by a metric fuck ton of frat bros singing the Star Spangled Banner.
I saw the people defending the flag when others were trying to take it down, and people were championing
We
those
raised
guys.
over $450,000 for a party.
Really?
Yeah. After they did that, they put up a Kickstarter for a Rager, and they raised $450,000.
Boys, if you want to send me £200 so I can get my new solar charge controller, I'd greatly appreciate it, brothers. I'll give you some whiskey recommendations if you want to have a nice time. Okay, so we should probably move on because we've got like 10 minutes left. First, there are two things going on in the UK, and I need to talk about them because they're on the one's on the thumbnail. The first thing that's not on the thumbnail is Sadiq Khan. Now, we don't have the result yet because the counting for this will not start until tomorrow. But the mayoral race, candidacy, election is going on for London. Now, in truth, it means sod all to us. But Sadiq Khan's had 2 terms. In that time, he has made things definitively worse. Knife crime has gone up exponentially because he got rid of stop searches, the random ones anyway, because it disproportionately hurt the fifis of people who are actually carrying the sodding blades in the first place. He has built less homes. He blamed it on the Tories for budget cuts, yet actually he got the same amount of money he requested and then blew it on PR. He has done absolutely nothing, but his opponent is someone I've never heard of. I've never heard of them. The only thing I know about them is they are called Susan Hall, and they're conservative, and I think I've seen them. Are they married? I can't remember. They're a nobody, basically. They mean I barely remember. I don't know anything about them. All I've got is that they've got 2 kids, and that's it. They were a Conservative group councillor, London Assembly. That's about it, really. There's nothing going on with them. There really isn't anything about them. But yeah, they're going for the mayor thing, and that's happening tomorrow now, I guess. So we will find out if Sadiq Khan is finally going to go or not.
I hope so.
He needs to, because he's shit at his job. But then, but it's a conservative. The problem is, this is where the problem arises. Right now, the Conservatives are getting absolutely annihilated in the council elections right now, and I'll get to that in a second. I say annihilated. They're getting destroyed, but Labour aren't benefiting as much as people think at the moment. So perhaps don't think of it as all Labour's way, as it were. But so in the case of Susan Hall, it might not seem like she has a fair chance, but no one knows anything about her. Sadiq Khan, we know loads about him. He's a loser. Oh, there are 2 other candidates, by the way. There's a green one with an unpronounceable Zoe Garbett. I have no idea who she is. And there's a guy for Liberal Democrats called Rob Blackie.
That's a terrible name.
It is when you find he's a white guy that looks like a.
Oh, no.
I'll actually go and put it on the screen. He looks like tech support.
Oh, does he?
He literally looks like tech support.
As somebody who works in computers, that's a terrible thing.
Rob Blackie looks like he's never.
Oh,
seen,
no.
He's never seen a vagina in his life.
Oh, poor
she
baby.
looks like. I'm not even going to bother describing you because it'll be an ad hom. Yeah, Sadiq Khan is against essentially this person who I know nothing about. All I've seen about this lady, Susan Hall, is people commenting of her looking, and I'll quote this: "She look thick," but I don't know because the C's. I don't know if they're referring to her body or if they're referring to her mind. Because I think in some of them they are a bit thirsty because cougar territory, I think, and ridiculously blue eyes. Beyond that, I know nothing of this person, and so I'm intrigued by this election. I really am. But that's not where we're going to finish. We're going to have to go to the current local council elections. Now, my area, my region, has yet to be declared, just to be clear, so I don't know how we've done. But the council elections for 2024 are ongoing. Now, I never pay any attention to this, because to be honest, I don't care about this. I care about the MP part. The MPs are what matter. The councils, generally, they don't actually reflect as much about the representation of MPs as people like to think they do. Yeah. Mm. But so far, vote counting still going on. Results are so far in, and I'll put it on the screen. Currently, Labour have gone up 173. Hello, cat.
Yeah, you heard that?
Yes, I did. It sounded like a fire alarm for a second. The Liberal Democrats have gone up 101. Independent, 92. Greens, 65. RA, which is the Resident Association, isn't it? Yeah, Residents Association have gone up 11. I'm going to actually go down to where we have actual representation of other. You got Reform UK, got 2 councillors so far. They're the ones that are Conservatives that broke away from the Conservatives. Workers' Party of Britain, 4. That's nice. Independent and others, complete independent and others, up 92. They're now 224, and they actually have a council, which is, I don't know who they are. The Conservatives have lost 448 councillors so far and are down 10 councils so far. So far, what have been declared, they've lost 10 out of 15 councils. There are loads more to do, though. There's all these white areas on the map aren't yet to be declared.
And who picked them up? Oh, Labour.
Labour picked up some. They got 173 more votes. But Liberal Democrats got some. Independent, Greens, Resident Association. So the thing is, let's see who got the councils. Liberal Democrats got 2. Labour got 8. Okay, so you are right actually. Independent got 1. Labour got 8. Liberal Democrats got 2. And so, no overall control have lost 1 so far. So I assume that's where the independent one came from actually. So Liberal Democrats picked up a couple. This does lend credence to the belief that Conservatives are fecked. They're completely, and I had this on Twitch earlier with Orla, who likes to. And if you're listening, this is not derogatory. It's just your nature. You admit to it. Word vomit a lot in the political sphere, and I had to say I'm not going to talk about this now because if I speak now on it, I'm going to not be able to say it all later. Yeah. But this is not a good look for what the Conservatives would want. But we all knew this was going to happen because they've been fighting themselves for the past 5 years and achieving very little. The problem that the Conservatives have is they're not going to win this election. Not because of this councillor thing, which is going to take them at least a decade to reclaim. And they'll reclaim it because once they're out of power, they can finally consolidate and try again. It happens every single time with them. They stab themselves in the back and it takes them 10, 15 years to relearn. because they're morons. They actually had, to be honest, if they'd gone with Boris after David Cameron, I think they would have been better off, because he would have been the better choice then after Cameron instead of Theresa May. But because the Conservatives are clearly going to lose that means they have less say on a local level. That's going to be interesting, because then Liberal Democrats will start to push more towards pushing for another rejoining of the EU bollocks thing. No, let's not do that. Even Labour had said if they won the next general election, they wouldn't push for it for at least 10 years. Which is the right thing to do, because they shouldn't push for it at all. But they would, because, if they can't fix everything in 10 years, then it's entirely the fault of us not being in the EU. That's not the case at all. The EU was killing us. And they would definitely take from us if we rejoined them, and they know this. But, you do what you think makes you look better, right? It's not about doing anything. It's about looking good, doing something that might be something that benefits the people, but doesn't benefit the people at all. We are, after all, one of the founding members of the EU, and we gave up all our vetoes because David Cameron's he's an idiot. Yeah.
Well, obviously.
So far, Labour are championing these results so far by saying that this is proof we need an election. Not necessarily true. It's just proof that Conservatives no longer have the confidence of the people at a local level. National level, you can't say that anyone has the confidence of the Lib Dems or Labour because they haven't got anything to prove that they could do anything. Lib Dems, last time they were in power, they betrayed the students that voted them in. Labour, last time they were in power, while they didn't have as much of a deficit as I had been told, they still were a part of one of the biggest recessions to ever hit this country, and they sold a bunch of our assets for virtually none of what the value was. I like that people in the chat are writing meow because of your kid. Is it Guinness or Stella?
Yes, it is. It's Guinness.
Okay. Hi, Guinness. This is not a good look so far from what we've got. I'll refresh the page just to see if any updates yet. There are no more updates right now. No. Still no more updates. But this is going to be ongoing over the weekend. If by Monday we have the results in and the Conservatives lose any more of this, then they're fecked. Yeah.
100%. But I also don't blame anybody who's looking at the Conservatives after watching Theresa May and Boris.
It's not. I mean, I would say that we've got 5 councils left to declare. Basically, Conservatives have lost nearly 500 candidates or councillors. Councillors aren't even paid. These people are, they're completely screwed.
They're volunteers.
Well, yeah, basically are. Why are they not showing areas over here then? I live in this Kent area, and they're all white. White is not right in this. But yeah, it's not a good look for them right now, and I think if they lose any more, I think people are going to say we need a general election. There should be one this year anyway. There's meant to be one this year, but I've yet to see any announcement. I don't think Rishi wants to pull that trigger just yet, because I don't think he thinks he stands a chance, which he doesn't. And it's not his fault, to be honest, because he's brought in as the last resort lead. The Conservatives are on their final throes. We know Keir Starmer's winning the next election. We know that. And the problem the Conservatives have is, if this plays out as MPs, the Conservatives become the 3rd biggest party in Parliament. But in the context of this, it's even worse for them, because they then become the 4th. Because the 1st and the 2nd are the government and the opposition. The 3rd is typically the Scottish. The 4th is then whoever the 3rd biggest English party is, and that would be the Conservatives if this plays out like this at the election. It really would. And they've not been there ever.
And how long does it take then for the pendulum to swing? Because obviously this is retaliation of the voters
It wouldn't. I think it would depend on what Labour do in their first 5 years. If they go and push to just spend to look good for 5 years, people will vote for them again. They did it with Tony Blair because people are stupid. But I'm going to look at that and go, okay, someone's paying for this later. I'm not voting for that. I think it depends on what Keir Starmer actually says he's going to do, because we haven't seen anything from him to say what he's going to do as Prime Minister, if he's Prime Minister. So we really don't know. But I'd love to see how it would work if it was Labour and then the Liberal Democrats as opposition, because that would be very different. The Conservatives would be relegated. They have never been relegated. They've always been one or two. Because Conservatives were they were the party of the country for so long.
Right.
In our history, they've always been a Conservative party. There's always been one, and it's always been at the prominence. But right now, they're so out of touch, and they can say their plan is working, but no, it's not. The cost of living is not helping them right now, which is the main problem. But the cost of living isn't just down to an economic recession. It's also down to the issue with Russia right now. That's caused a lot of problems for us as well. And us also giving shitloads of things away to Ukraine, and I think also helping Israel doesn't help either. Interesting. Yes.
Curious, isn't it?
But yeah, by Monday we should have answers on this. Hopefully, when we next stream, we'll have some answers on this.
I will not be here next week.
That's quite all right. I'll be doing a research stream on the Friday then. That'll do me some good, because it's the really annoying one. So I guess we'll end it here, because you've got to go, and I want to sleep at some point. Thank you everyone for joining us. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to smash the like or dislike. We don't mind which. Sorry I didn't spend much time covering this, but I've been trying not to sneeze for the last 10 minutes. I think that was more important to me. We do appreciate you all being here, and we are very grateful. We'll be back in, I guess, 2 weeks then. If things go to plan. Say good night, Trups.
Good night, Trups.
Good night, Trups.